stories that inspire, strategies that transform, and roadmaps to navigate the financial world. This is Grewhub Talks, the strategies you've been looking for, now in a podcast.
Today on Grewhub Talks, we are joined by Sameer Sawaqed, Director of Client Engagement at Freedom Family Office in the US. Sameer works directly with ultra-high net worth clients and advisors, helping design and implement tailored wealth strategies. With a background in investment management and business development, he's now focused on integrating digital tools, automation, and AI to modernize how financial services are delivered. He's a strong advocate for continuous growth and innovation in the financial industry. Sameer, it's a pleasure to have you with us in Grewhub Talks.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Let's start with your personal story. What drew you to the financial world and client engagement?
Yeah, so my family came from the Middle East back in 1996, and they're in the medical field, so they came to the U.S. focused on medicine. And I would say, as I was growing up, one thing that we never really had in the household was learning about finance and understanding the financial world. And so, my uncles were in the finance world and launching businesses and entrepreneurs, and it really drew me and took a keen interest in finance. And ever since I was maybe 14 or 15, I was super curious about things like, what is a stock? Why do stocks go up? Why do stocks go down? What happens when a company goes bankrupt? Why do companies go bankrupt? And so finance has always been a passion for me. And although in college I didn't study finance, it kept finding its way back to me. And ultimately, it led me to pursue a career in finance.
Oh, that's great. And I think most of us also didn't heard about finance a lot in our houses, so that's cool. And for those who may not be familiar with the role, what does a director of client engagement actually do within a family office like Freedom? What does your day to day look like?
Yeah, and we have our two businesses. So we have our Freedom Family Office, and then we have a sister consulting company that's focused on tax strategy for ultra high net worth individuals. And in this client engagement role, there is, a high net worth individual is multifaceted, right? So you have different parts that you have to cater to. And so a large part of my role is focusing on not only getting our marketing efforts out there to attract the ultra high net worth clients, but to facilitate that engagement to get them to go through our client service team. So I'm doing everything from engaging our ultra high net worth individuals, making sure it's a smooth transition for them in our client life cycle to become clients. And that could be in terms of becoming a consulting client or raising assets under management under AUM. So handling the entire strategy from go to market to business development to the actual marketing to our messaging to even understanding the community aspect within our clients, within that tailored support, what can we do to provide the most value to our clients through newsletters, through monthly market updates, through quarterly letters, through the content that we put out? Content, you're doing content now, you're a CIO, and you realize the importance of having content now. And so managing all of that life cycle from business development to marketing to content and engaging and being helpful where necessary with our clients. And that could be in situations like, we have a client that recently was looking at investing in the AI space. And, he came to us, and part of my diligence was asking the right questions and seeing, hey, before he invests X amount of dollars into this all AI space, why does he want to invest in it? Doing diligence on his behalf, getting questions over for him, and being supportive where we can outside of just our direct work.
Okay. Technology is changing in any way how you are engaging with your clients.
Yeah, technology has changed it significantly. So I would say it is continuously advancing. And even in the little intricacies, right? Like the ability now to be able to hop on a Zoom, even on our mobile device, we can connect with the client face to face a lot easier than, say, 5 or 6 years ago prior to COVID, right? It was harder. Now we can connect with them on the go. Now, what's nice is in certain situations, let's say you're on the go and you have notes to take, you can have a private note taker take the notes for you with clients. And actually, in fact, most financial advisors now are starting to use artificial intelligence note takers. And these note takers are significantly as small as they seem, they're game changer because now you're in a situation where you are focusing on the conversation and having an encrypted private note taker get you all those notes so you can look at those after next steps, details. And not only that, but you can take those notes and learn from them. So if a client takes interest into, a car that they want to buy, or maybe they like a certain type of vacation that they go on every year, you're in a situation where you can use that AI, those recording notes, and remember that and put it on your calendar. So next time you see something or on their birthday, etc., you can reach out.
But for example, you think that you can do a full automation in the future and to replace this human touch with a client? My own opinion is that it's you can't do that with a high net worth or ultra high net worth because they value a lot the personal feeling and the personal trait. But what is your perspective?
My perspective is that I think AI is going to be the next generation of enhancing and supporting advisors, whether it's investment officers, financial advisors within their clients. I don't think it's here to replace. I think it's here to enhance. That being said, there's a caveat. For the advisors that do not embrace the technology and I think they will be left out. I think they will be replaced. So you have to learn how to use AI as a tool alongside it. I think it's sort of like a I had this conversation with a friend the other day. It's sort of like a personal trainer. So, in theory, with AI and technology, more and more people should be healthier than ever because you have access. I can go on ChatGPT right now and I can develop the most advanced fitness plan within give me 10 minutes with enough prompts tailored to not only just the most advanced science, but also to my age, my weight, my genetics. I can give it all these prompts. Yet people are still struggling to lose weight because I think there is an accountability and a face to face issue that AI can't replace. So AI can help you with the information overload, but I think to your point, the quality connection of sitting with your client, of tailoring that experience to them, I think it's hard to replace that. I think a lot of the technicalities will be replaced. For example, not having to take a notebook to your meetings now because you have an AI note taker is game changer. That being said, I don't think you can just replace completely. I could be wrong, but I think I agree with you on that.
I totally agree with that, and I also think that those that don't embrace AI are going to be left apart. So yes, it's a game changer, but you have to be in the game in order to change with it. It's it's logic. Yeah. Um, in your work right now, beside what you have already told me, what else are you using to leverage your work with clients with AI in specific?
Yeah, I'd say AI note taker is big. I would say the other, you have to be careful with using AI as well from like a privacy and data standpoint. But I would say AI is helping with double checking emails, spelling, automation of certain inputs. So let's say someone wants to be added to an email list or get a monthly market update. It's easy with AI. We're able to generate our monthly market updates and insights faster than ever before. We're able to develop the information and get that content out faster than ever before. In fact, we're able to now create content pieces. We can go on a podcast and within an hour with AI have 30 clips done, which is remarkable. It would take a full team generally to edit something like that. But with our AI, I have a tool that we use where we can get 30 clips from a podcast. Let's say our CIO goes on a podcast. We can have 30 clips if he records for an hour done within an hour. Then for the next month, we have content coming out from him just off an hour with AI.
No, I think that's awesome. We also use something like that, and also, for example, for scrapping the web to synthesize information of the market, things like that. That you would need like two analysts at least. Right now, you can have that information in 5 minutes or 10 minutes at most. It's amazing.
Another example I'll give you is if I'm looking at a valuation of a business of let's say someone wants to let's say someone has a construction business and maybe the revenue is $10 million US dollars. If I have all the financials, I can have AI be like my investment banking assistant and be super smart and and help me in the evaluation. I can also still do the analysis and diligence myself, give my analysis to the AI and say, hey, what blind spots did I miss?
Yeah.
Think of AI as a super smart assistant.
Yeah, and even in those things that you think that you can make a mistake, you can put like a Python action that do the math, and it's very simple to program that, and the AI is going to take that formula exactly, so you don't have that error or hallucinations that it could have. So it's amazing. I really think the same about that.
Agreed.
How do you think this game changing technology is affecting the human connection?
With the game changing technology, it allows you to connect with more clients than ever before. And what I mean by that is now with content at scale, for example, you can reach hundreds of people, or in fact, even with advertising, reach thousands and thousands or hundreds of thousands of people off one video. So in theory, you yourself can be at 100 different places at once. So your reach can be significantly higher now with the leverage of technology. That being said, I think if you're only depending on the technology and AI, it is removing a little bit of the human connection. If you're having AI help you create every email and reply, and you know the technology is getting so crazy where they're starting to use AI avatars to take Zoom calls for people, I think that's a little bit much. And I think there unfortunately, the new generation really values the speed of information. It's why TikTok is so valuable, because I can go on TikTok. In fact, my generation, Gen Zs, statistically show that they would much rather go to TikTok to get their news than like a journalist or a news platform, CNN, whatever it might be, because of the rapid state of I can go on TikTok and see a short form video, and in 20 or 30 seconds I can get my news updates. Not only that, it can tailor it to what I want. So this new generation, say the Gen Zs, the millennials, the 30 to 40, they value speed of information. And I think technology is just what they grew up with, right? Especially if you're a Gen Z, you can't, I think advisors are going to struggle winning those type of clients if they're not leveraging technology. This new gen. Now, the biggest wealth transfer is happening, but they're going to struggle to win that wealth transfer if you're an advisor that's not using the technology. So again, it goes back to what I said at the start. You have to know how to leverage it with you.
And since we are talking about generations, what is your age? Mine is 39.
39. So I feel like I'm getting old. I'm 28.
Mostly near 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I'm millennial, you are Gen Z.
Correct. You look like you are 32.
Thank you. Uh, yes, I think that I also use more like chat gpt to have most of of the news, or yes, or media. I think, and most of the people that I work with also are doing that. Obviously, what I always say to everyone is, if you want a quality of information, you always have to pay. Don't use the free software. It's,
Yes, I agree.
for example, O3 in ChatGPT is far superior than 4.0. So you have to, if you want to do a better research, you have to use O3.
Agreed.
Has Have you noticed something in the financial sector that you think it's more open to innovation?
Yeah, I think specifically it's interesting because the financial industry, you could argue, is the most important industry, right? Like you're managing wealth, and wealth comes down to effectively probably the most important aspect of a life. Without money, you don't have anything. I mean, yes, health and everything, but you need to have something to be able to pay hospital bills, your family. I think no one will disagree that money is important. It's just where you value it on the totem pole, right? But so interesting, despite that, RIAs and financial advisors tend to be the most behind when it comes to technology. I mean, I used to be part of an AI fintech company. We raised about 136 million from Sequoia Capital Ribbit, called Vise, out of New York City. And the work that we were doing was fascinating because I would meet with these advisors and they would be using Excel spreadsheets to look at rebalancing, and it was so outdated, and I was shocked. Every other industry is advancing, but this is the most important, and they're not advancing in any way. And so I think now the technology, especially in portfolio management, rebalancing, with direct indexing, for example, which has become a huge thing, you can use artificial intelligence and direct indexing to build custom portfolios for clients at scale without having to sacrifice not giving the same level of detail, because now I can build 100 different portfolios for 100 different clients at scale rapidly. I can even be super specific with this technology. For example, let's say I have a client that works at Google or Meta, which is Facebook, as an engineer, and they have an overexposure to Google stock because they're an engineer there. I can lock the position, and the AI can make sure it does not overweight technology in the sector and build a custom index for them. The next part of it is I can do automatic tax loss harvesting, which can then add an extra 100 basis points of tax alpha year over year with the indexing, because you're selling loss, and it's remarkable. That's just one example of technology. And like I talked about with you, with like even like little things like the note takers, but I definitely see the new era of finance and technology is personalization. I think to win clients over, you have to be super personalized with your clients now. Clients have Clients want to have certain things in their portfolio. Clients might not, a client might not want to buy a full index. They might want something super personalized to them. Maybe they don't want exposure to gun stocks for whatever reason, or maybe they don't like Elon Musk and they don't want to have Tesla. You just People have, especially this generation speaks out more, I think, and they want to have their values represented, I think, in some way in part of their investment, but also returns and taxes and being able to rebalance their entire financial picture.
And I think that right now is that um, it's very easy to build a scorecard to do a portfolio management and to leverage with AI to have, as you say, a personalization for every client. So I think that's
Agreed.
what do you really value when you are working with clients? What do you expect of that relationship?
I value the genuine connections in the relationship, right? So I value that, like, in a lot of ways, when you're an advisor, you are like their friend, their therapist. It's building a connection and seeing them grow and hitting their goals over time. So, doing what you say you're going to do, honoring your commitments, and seeing them reach the goals that they want to, and building that connection over the longevity of it. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's one thing that I think about.
This I'm going to read because um, I really agree with this. And you say you have to become better every day, and you put 1% better. Okay. Can you elaborate more about it? And how can you manage to be that 1% better?
It comes down to stacking the days and rapid communication, um being available. Some people take forever to answer. I think, in fact, the best servicers and people are the ones that are accessible to their clients, right? And being able to be, one thing that we value at our companies, both our family office and our consulting company, is is about being proactive, not reactive. So we don't want to react to a situation. We want to proactively think about, hey, you're thinking about selling your business in 3 years. We're going to do everything we can to prepare you to the exit. Being proactive about their taxes and their tax strategy, and being sort of like their quarterback in American football, as you'd say. And so I think a big part is communication, being proactive, and being your client's blind spot, kind of like how we might use AI, you and I, to be like our super smart assistant. Being your client's blind spot and uncovering things that they might not have even seen.
And what advice would you give to young professionals and, well, Gen Z professionals and also older millennials who are entering the world of finance?
I would say a couple things. One is under promise and over deliver. I think in the financial industry, there's a lot of over promising, the best returns, the best company, this is the best thing. And as a Gen Z or even younger, right, like 21 graduating, always under promise, meaning say less but over deliver, exceed expectations, as opposed to setting the highest expectations ever and then under delivering. So under promise, over deliver. And I would say always doing what's right, even if it's not, the financial industry, well, any industry, always doing what's in the best interest of the client, and remembering that, whatever part of finance you're in, the client is looking to you to be their expert, right? And to be their support. And it's like a doctor. And so you want to be thinking about them always in the situation. And that's the problem sometimes in financial services, is that some people might only meet with a client once a year, and you're thinking of them once a year, whereas a client's thinking about their life all year. So being proactive with that. So I would say being proactive, not reactive, under promising, over delivering, and then little core values like getting 1% better daily.
Yes, I think that it's a very intelligent approach because, well, you when you try to, and that happens a lot in the financial industry. I think we have more people that want to sell something and not to really advise someone. So the thing with that is that you forget that you are engaging in a relationship, a long-term relationship with a client, because as you say, you are that the client is going to think about his life like every day, and they always invest because they have some objective, or they are managing the portfolio of their family. So I think that's a very intelligent approach, and also to talk less and deliver more. So I think that those are things that all of us need to learn and to repeat every day in order to be better.
Yes, agreed.
Just to finish, if you want to to tell us about a book or idea, an author, or something that you think that have had a great impact in you and you want to share with the people that are listening.
Yeah, there's a really good book, and even though it's not a finance book, I do recommend. It's called Unreasonable Hospitality, by Will Gudera, and it's so Unreasonable Hospitality. He's an American restaurateur, and he is one of the co-owners of a famous restaurant called 11 Madison in New York City. And it's just a great book of understanding what hospitality is like, and human connection. And one of the things in the books he one of the things in the book he talks about is going above and beyond and exceeding expectations, and what makes someone want to come back to your restaurant. And it's this idea of unreasonable hospitality and how they scale that. And I think you can transfer a lot of the lessons from that into whatever you're doing, specifically finance. So there's a lot of good leadership lessons in Will Guidera's book.
Great. Well, I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to take note also.
Yes. And maybe you can use AI, and it can also give you some summary notes.
Yeah, no, that's great. Okay, Samir, very nice to meet you and hope to have you again in this space.
Absolutely. I love what you're doing, and thank you for having me on.
Gracias por acompañarnos en este episodio de Grewhub Talks. No olvides suscribirte para más conversaciones que inspiran y estrategias que transforman. Te esperamos en el próximo episodio.